Aloha everybody, what is really good my dudes? Today is July 6, 2020 and we got another RuneScape update for y'all. Today is a standard patch week, but don't worry, we have some exciting news about an upcoming update in the very near future. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video, let's go.
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, before we get started on the patch notes, I do want to mention that tomorrow, which is Tuesday, July 7th, Jagex is going to be hosting a live stream where key members of the team are going to be revealing the next major content updates, which is very exciting. It's been a very long time since we had a content update. If I'm not mistaken, Archaeology was the last at the end of March. So Jagex is finally breaking the silence. Hopefully that whets your appetite. I will cover whatever this is tomorrow on the channel, so don't worry about that. If you miss it, I'll cover it in detail as far as they, reveal. So I can't wait to hear what they have to say. That said, we're going to actually shift on over to those patch notes now and see what's been changed with today's update, so let's go ahead and check it out. Starting off with Archaeology, when completing filling an empty divine charge with a divine nomadic vacuum, excess energy will now flow into next empty divine charge instead of being wasted. Players using the uncharged divine nomadic vacuum with an active divine conversion relic power will now receive the correct amount of energy when converting memories at a energy rift. Additional messaging has been added when completing art critic Jagex collections to indicate that replica pieces of art can be displayed in the guild office. Some archaeology materials have been added to archaeology research and Tetracompass loot tables for better distribution. And they fixed an issue where the Ruthless perk was remaining on the buff bar after being cleared. Moving on to some other changes, Arc berry bushes will now give 5% farming reputation when harvested in line with other bushes. Replaced outdated spell icons in the magic skill guide with up-to-date ones found in the magic ability book. Updated spell names in the magic skill guide to match the spell book. Players will no longer continue the mining animation indefinitely when mining the ancient rock in the Mountain Daughter quest. The alphabetical order of the music player track list has been updated. The examine text for Ice Arrow now reads An Ice Arrow. The tooltip for the Tyranwin hard task rewards on the achievement interface now mentions the Mushroom Patch teleport. Blue and green blubber jellyfish have been added to the I'm cooking options in the quick chat menu. Crystal has now been added to the I'm using a hatchet made of option in the quick chat menu. Updated the information for Mace Invaders on the achievement path. A colon has now been added to the hover text when mousing over Reaper points. Misleading info that max capes could be taken into Demonheim has been removed for the Dungeoneering perk. The POH Calphite Soldier model has been updated. Telegrabbing on Monster Death will no longer cause the Spring Cleaner to malfunction. Added a new marker to direct players to Lumber's Castle Kitchen. Added a tutorial for legendary pets. Players no longer require 75 range to unlock the mechanized Chinchampa blueprints, as the requirement is not necessary to produce the item. Removed a reference to virtual levels upon leveling up in skills that reach level 20 without virtual levels. An A/B test for 50% of self-selected new players has ended. All players that choose I have never played before will once again start on Tutorial Island. Note that players can skip the tutorial in the settings menu or bypass selections of Tutorial Island with chapter exits. A couple of changes on mobile. The buff and debuff bars have been relocated from the top of the interface layout to the bottom, above the combat HUD. They have also been made marginally smaller. The extra action button, currently used for the Solak encounter, has been repositioned to sit above the combat HUD. It will now move to account for the toggling of combat mode action bars. The ribbon settings/setup UI has been moved and tied to the game's main settings interface as its own tab. Users can still access the interface from the existing button located on the custom ribbon itself. Moving on to some fixes. There was a recent hotfix where repairing uncharged augmented tier 92 equipment with repair patches now correctly repair them to a charged state the first time. The Equius Archer Helm no longer returns any script errors and will now load properly. Corrected multiple spelling errors in the Broken Home quest and quest rewards screen. Grammatical grammatical issues in the Castle Wars manual have been resolved. Fixed an animation issue when reading through the Covenant of Perpetual Conflict. Corrected grammatical and spelling issues in the reward text for the Fate of the Gods. Corrected typos in Buyer's dialogue at Player-Owned Farm and in the Love Story quest log. The 1 Foot in the Grave mini quest is no longer shown as complete after handing the body parts to Zavistic Rarv. Collected the start point information for dealing with Scabaras. A full stop has been added to the end of the examine text for Coconut Milk. Fixed multiple typos in the Big Book of Bangs. Tackled a rogue apostrophe in the examine text for the young Gobi at the entrance of Otot. Tips for the Frog Slayer task are now correct. Fixed an issue that was preventing the Kukuka Chat achievement from triggering on free-to-play worlds. Attempting to decant an Ogre Flask thermal into a Potion Flask will no longer force a logout. Fixed a typer in the Minor Journal number 2. Fixed an issue where text was being cut off in the opening cutscene of Desperate Times. Corrected a desynchronization error that could occur between daily challenges and their titles when linked from the feature tab. Fixed an issue where inspecting another player with specific achievements could cause them to disconnect. The quest marker for Another Slice of Ham now leads a player to Ambassador Avijar's actual location. The message received when creating a 4-dose potion no longer states that it is a 3-dose potion. Power Burst potions are no longer dropped on the floor when the Wasteless Herblore ability triggers. Players can no longer kill the shapeshifter at the end of the Witch's House quest more than once. Using a Blessed Flask on various items now works as expected. The player-owned house build mode checkbox now consistently reflects the build mode's actual status. The Twin Furies no longer display their health value on their individual health bars. The Dragon Breath ability will now animate correctly even when the asphyxiate animation is appearing. The bell in Sithareed Abbey no longer disappears after the cutscene with Sister Anna. Audio will no longer cut off after changing draw distance. Augmenting Masterwork armor now correctly states which version of the armor you have augmented. The Examine pop-up now appears in the correct location when the game view window is set to small. There is now an inventory space check for the Moonlight Mead gift at the end of the Curse of the Blackstone quest. The requirements to make a Revenant Bane 2-hand sword via the Make X interface are now checked properly. Added a fade transition to hide the player model when upgrading buildings in the player-owned port. Fixed an issue where the leaf trap east of the northernmost hunter training area in Tyrannwood could sometimes send you back west when jumping east across it. Fixed an issue which resulted in entity highlights being enabled on login despite being disabled in the previous login. And finally fixed an issue where the quick players could not update correctly after long pressing the prayer globe. That is if you're in patch notes. Links to everything discussed in this video will be down in the description below. Head on over there, check them out. With that, I'm gonna wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you are not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date in all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Aloha.